And we are back again. The Philly Neighborhood Film Watch. We are Frankie Football. I'm your humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, Honey Grand. Set it off, Chris, with me. Chris, how you feeling, man? It's the weekend.
Hey man, got up this morning, got a little work done, spent some time with my baby, my little dog, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying to get to that settle down time. So I know
Yeah.
we said what we gonna do. We gonna be intentional, man. Hey man, shout out man to everybody, man, who retweeted us.
Mm-hmm.
My man John Herndon, that is the
Love
guy
John.
who I am
Love John.
so praying for every day, man. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
keep him in your thoughts and prayers, but ready to get him back into the swing with us and
Yep,
do some things. But man, we really appreciate it, man. We growing this thing. We're gonna be consistent. We're gonna be about our business, man, to get things
for sure.
done. So thanks, man, for all the support, man. Always like, always share, always subscribe, man. Throw us some comments, man. Say
There we
something,
go.
man. And we definitely want to get that interaction. But yeah, B,
Absolutely.
talk to me, man.
So Chris, initially we were gonna do a film session today. We were gonna do a Jade and Blue film session today, and I had that in my head up until I got home, around like 12:20. I opened up the Twitter machine, and I see, Brian Schottenheimer had an interview today. I call you and just say, all right, look, we nixing the film session. This is what we're talking about today. We're gonna break down that 25-minute presser that Coach Schottenheimer had.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it was on point.
yeah.
Kind of fit in with the rookies. I know I had an opportunity to go listen to a lot of guys' interviews last night.
Mm-hmm.
As I was finishing my cigar on the
Yeah,
back porch,
there we
and
go.
got some insight on kind of what I'm seeing. So let's bounce it back and forth, bro. Tell me
Mhm.
what you heard. I'll tell you what I heard, and we see if we can come to a middle.
A lot of his statements highlighted his emphasis on building relationships, having the team be a unit, and things of that nature. And so when he talked about his intentions with the rookies over the last couple of days, he said that he wanted to focus on the three C's. He said that he wanted them to be comfortably a cowboy, he wanted them to be caught up with football, and he wanted them to be connected with each other. So when you hear all of those things, he doesn't really say, okay, I want them to understand their job. We went over these installs and so on and so forth. No, all of those were kind of soft skills. Like for
Mm-hmm.
anybody that's worked in customer service, you know what soft skills are. Those are
Mm-hmm.
your people skills.
Gotcha.
Your connectivity and so on and so forth, right?
Right.
So that was a few, like 2 minutes or less into the interview, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that if we think about to the Cowboys' history, this sounds a lot like we said yesterday, the right kind of guy thing. That we heard in
Mm-hmm.
like the Jason Garrett regime. It
Mm-hmm.
kind of gave me flashbacks of that because as we go on further into what he says, he wants people that are going to be that are going to have strong character and present positive experiences as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that they're going to try to have like a strong culture feel with this new coaching regime.
I just think what you said, those three C's, I want to be
Mm-hmm.
comfortable as being a Cowboy. I think that
Mm-hmm.
is something that for us as fans,
Yeah.
we kind of throw off as like, oh, what is that? Because you have to understand you're on the big stage all
Yeah.
the time. It's
Yeah.
not like, if I played in Cleveland, nobody really care what I do in Cleveland. But because Cleveland's not going,
If you look
nobody
at their quarterback.
outside of the fifth round quarterback, nobody even care. If a
Yeah.
person stopped you on the street and asked you to name four Cleveland Browns and they give you $1 million, it's gonna be $1 million in a lot of people's pocket unless they hit a football head.
Yeah.
So what he's saying is you're gonna be on the big stage all the time. You're gonna be in the forefront all the time. Whether we're winning, you're going to be at the top of the news cycle. If we're losing, you're definitely going to be at the top of the news cycle. If you're just walking around buying groceries at Aldi's, you're going to be top of the news cycle. So be
Mm-hmm.
comfortable in being a Cowboy,
Sure.
comfortable in your surroundings. Then he wanted
Absolutely.
to get him caught up on football. And what he said with those guys, you have been for the last 90 days, been doing drills,
Mm-hmm.
doing I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna go do that, and
They
I'm
might
not
even be going back
locked
to
in.
school.
Yeah, some are going back to school, finishing classes. all that kind of stuff. I need you to get comfortable being a football player again, because now this is your full-time job. So get back into the routine of football, studying, lifting, running, food, all that. Because all you've been doing is going to interviews, going to meetings, doing this. I'm working out here, working out what I can. Because he said, another point, he said, they got to realize when they leave here Sunday at midday, how do I stay conditioned?
That was my second point. He stressed the importance of them training, conditioning, and studying on their own.
Yeah, on their own. So like, okay, and we'll hit that. And then he said, I think he said, comfortable being a Cowboy, get back, coach, come back with being comfortable back with football, and then last was comfortable with each other. So you can't build nothing. And I think I understand this, and I kind of got a little bit more closer parallel with that, with dealing with that. You see it as well with the nature of NIL and college sports now. You're not building the days of building the team are over. We building mercenaries.
Explain that.
Got you. Perfect. Thank you. So, so I've got a Division I athlete. Okay, my child's a Division I athlete, and so you turn around, you bring guys in with your recruiting class. So if that guy's on campus the first 12 months, he don't feel like he getting his way, the first thing most of them want to do is, I'm going to jump in the portal so I can go find me a place where I can play. And what it also does, it gets to the point that the coaches have to recruit their guys back. They got to recruit them all the time. They got to be recruiting them in January. They got to be recruiting them through spring ball. They got to be recruiting them through winter workouts, because in April there's a portal. And then once they get to the team and they're playing and they're practicing, and if they don't feel like they're getting they do, you've seen kids say, hey, I'm shutting it down. I'm jumping in the portal. So with that, you don't go and build bonds. Like a perfect example, I'm gonna shout my man out. Sheldon Donaldson is the one guy in the whole world that could call me at 2:00 in the morning, say, we got to go do something bad to somebody. I don't need you to ask me no questions. Next thing I'm going to say is, whose car we driving? You follow me? There ain't no bond like that. Me and you got a bond. Me and you been doing this about 4 years. You call me and say, hey, Chris, I need you to meet me halfway. I ain't asking you a whole bunch of questions. I'm going to flip my schedule because we got a bond. You don't have that. So I got to go meet this guy who just came into the building with me and let me introduce myself. Or it's a guy I've seen on Sundays, right? And I've been a fan of his, and now I got to go introduce him. So that's what I'm saying. So he wants those guys to get comfortable with each other, because when I'm comfortable with you, I can be able to bear myself with you, and then iron sharpens iron, and we get better. Love that about what Shotty's trying to say right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Now, here's another thing that he talked about, though. He talked about the importance of coaching. He said, and I got the quote here. He said, anybody can coach in the meeting room. The importance is taking that stuff from the meeting room to the field and harnessing the development of fundamentals. It's important for a coach to take a small, simple detail and break it down to the building blocks so the player can execute. Do you think that was a shot at the last coaching regime?
No, I think that's just his philosophy. See, I don't think it's so much about taking shots at these guys, but what he's saying, what I want to do. I'm not, at no point in time, and I think the best coaches do this. They say, listen, the stuff that they did in the last time and what we got here, he said, I've been in the building for 4 years.
Yes.
In that 4-year time frame, he had 3 winning seasons, and he had last year.
Yes.
So he's seen it work a certain kind of way, but he's also picked up on some things that he wants to do to make it his way. So whereas Shotty's doing is saying, I need to get it down to the ridiculous. And we all know when it comes to anything, you being in, customer service, me being to the point I've been in sales pretty much my whole life, it goes from the mechanical, you go from the awkward to the mechanical to the natural. You know what I'm saying? Because awkward is like, I'm thinking I know what I'm doing. I'm kind of, then I'm doing it just like this. One step here, one step back, this, till I get mechanical. And then once you get comfortable with that, then you go to being natural. I think what he's saying is that anybody can point it out on the board. You can X and O it. But now, if I see Chris not using this word or this phrase, how do I coach him to use this phrase and put it in his vernacular so he can make it work? T.I. word for the day. You turn around and go forward.
Sure. Now, one thing that he also kind of focused on, and I do believe that this is a little different from what Mike McCarthy gave. He said that he's going to be involved in every room, every coaching room, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, and then you break it down into the position groups from there. And also that his job was as the head coach was to know exactly what's going on in every room. So even though he may be an offensive minded guy and have distinct offensive philosophies, but maybe not on the defensive end, he still wants to be involved and have his hand in every room where he may not be as knowledgeable. I think that that's good. I think that that's good because it ensures continuity amongst the whole team. It makes sure that he is instilling his idea for the team everywhere, while also still trying to lean on the coaches that are around him, because he's still a first time coach at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
what do you think?
yeah. I like the fact that he wants to make sure he's a walk around coach, because that's the best way for you to be able to do everything you do, but leave the liberty and the mindset that those guys are coaching. Those guys who are coaching that room, they're coaching that room. It's important for if it's kind of like the principal kind of mindset. The coach does what he's supposed to do. He's coaching, but as the principal or as the head of the organization, I'm walking around. I'm talking to this guy. I know what this guy feels like, because I don't think that's any different than what I don't know if Mike was when he became the OC. He stayed with the offensive side of the football. Whereas with Shotty's been kind of like, I'm the offensive side guy, but I'm gonna let Matt coach his side of the ball. I'm gonna let special teams do their thing, but I'm going to go and make sure I go into these different rooms and make sure these guys know, hey, I'm listening, I'm hearing, I need your feedback, and go from there. So it's all about, he is all about connecting. He's all about being personable. He's all about being to the point where instead of me deciding to run upstairs, I'm gonna run to you first. That's a power that has been needed inside this organization. I mean, let's be totally honest, the last 20 some odd years, because you have to have the coach having a semblance of authority over the team, and going to Jerry, they feel like they can jump the chain of command, so to speak. So I love that about Shotty.
Okay, I'm actually glad, because that's something that I didn't think about. The fact that our owner, general manager is so involved, and that can kind of create a country club.
No. It don't kind of create. It has brought that mindset about, bro.
Sure. So it has created a country club mindset, right? Do you think that the things that Brian Schottenheimer is trying to instill is something that could change that? Or what are your thoughts on it?
All he can do is instill and put that inside of his coaching regime and where guys are going. It has got to be the mindset of the front office is to say whatever the coach is saying, and you can't really come and talk to me about this. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like it's parenting.
At the end of the day, at the end of the day,
it's parenting. My child cannot come and say, well, I want to go this, that, and the third, and then I say no, and then he can go to his mother and say that, and then she say yes. It's got to be to the point we have to be united. So, having the open door policy always sounds great, but that door is opening with ramifications and with stipulations. Okay, so the stipulation is, if you coming to me and you ain't talked to the coach yet, why are you coming talking to me? You know what I'm saying? And if you decide to do that, there's repercussions and ramifications for you making that move. So I think you change that with the level of leadership inside the rooms, that the guys that they're bringing in, that they're going to be, they want to be leaders about certain things, but they're going to, respect their elders, because everybody's got to do that. As much as we say Tyler Booker's a leader, he ain't really walking in there and telling Tyler Smith, hey man, this is how we doing it, because Tyler Smith gonna say, who's you? Right? Who this dude? Whose man's is this? Because I'm a two-time Pro Bowl All-Pro guy. Hey, I've done this, but I think it's gonna be done with love, and I think it's gonna be done with the mindset we're all trying to build from this, and we're trying to turn the ship. You know what I'm saying? And it takes time to turn it. It takes time to turn the ship.
For sure. And then one thing that he talked about with himself, he promised himself he wouldn't change once he got the head coach job, because he's seen so many people change, and when they did, they weren't successful. First, I'm going to ask you, who do you think he was talking about? And two, do you believe him when he says that?
I can only, I don't have an idea. I want to know who you think, because I don't really have no idea. I think Mike McCarthy was who Mike McCarthy always was. I don't think he changed much. I think he didn't want to have Kellen in the building. I definitely knew he wanted to get him out the building because he wanted to run it his own way. Yeah. But I think with Shotty having this opportunity with so much time having been in waiting, I think he's seen enough people make enough mistakes that he said, okay, I caught that. I need to put that in my back pocket, that I don't do that. So he could have been talking about a Pete Carroll. He could have been talking about the number of different coaches that he met along the way. I'm not just going to pinpoint. He's saying that. I think what he's doing, he's taking life lessons in this direction he's gone, and saying, I've seen enough people get in this position, change from who they were, and then hey man, you know how it was back in the day. You know how you work with your man, and he's a worker with you. But the moment he get a little promotion or he become a supervisor,
here we go.
It
all changed, right? It all changed.
It all
right?
changed. I'm a supervisor. You know what I'm saying? And so I think he says I can't become that, because then that deters or changes what I'm trying to do. And I think he believes if I build a bond of brotherhood and I feel like we're all rowing the same way, then we can get to our common goal. Because, man, the number one deodorant that changes everybody's mindset, man, is winning. Yeah. And if you win, dude, winning changes for everything. You win in Dallas.
It can mask anything. It can mask anything. It masks the worst culture issues, so on and so forth.
Come on.
That's why I felt when we went 12-5, three years in a row, there was no issue.
Yeah. Well, at least we didn't. Well,
it wasn't highlighted as much. Because at the end of the day, they were winning. They were a double-digit win team, playoff team every year. So
you hadn't done that. You hadn't done that, right? You hadn't done that in 20 years.
Absolutely.
You hadn't done that in 20 plus years of being back-to-back double-digit win teams.
So let me explain why I do think he was talking about Mike McCarthy.
Okay, go ahead.
From the beginning, Mike McCarthy admitted that he lied in those interviews. He wasn't authentic in what he presented in those interviews, right? So if he'll admit that he switched up just to get the job, I think that it's not impossible to believe that he kind of switched up on guys that he interviewed to be his supporting staff, even though they maybe have been guys that helped him in the past. Family, in the case of Schottenheimer, family of guys that helped him in the past, and etc. It's possible that he presented the job in a different light than what it actually was. So I do think that he was talking about Mike McCarthy.
I mean, even though that Mike lied on his resume, didn't stop him from, in that time frame, bring Shotty there. I still think Mike had the issue with Mike's issue was the 2 years we go 12-5, the first 2 years. So Mike lies on his interview, right? Mm-hmm. He turns around that first year, he got to lose it. He bring all his homeboys over, right? He bring his homies, brings his homies over and get him a job, right? Yep. You know how it is. Hey, Tom, yeah, come through. I got you. And he brought him over, right? Yep. Hey, Mike Nolan, come on, bring your, yeah. Say all them dudes, and those dudes suck, but they needed a paycheck.
Sure.
Right? So now when he started bringing guys in the regime that he didn't specifically pick.
Yeah.
He knew Brian, he knew Shotty, but he ain't picked Shotty. And I think this is the one thing we don't give the Joneses enough credit for. Like they give you enough rope to hang yourself.
Explain. Explain for that situation. What are you saying that happened?
So when all his dudes sucked, he fired them, and then he turned around and then the Joneses brought in people they felt could work for them. They brought in the Lunda Wells. They brought in They brought in Shotty. Now it wasn't like to the breath of Mike didn't have to have some kind of idea, but they weren't his homeboys that he picked. So I don't beat up Mike for lying on his resume, because some folks done left some stuff out on their resume that's listening to us. Come on, man.
Comment.
You know,
what you trying to say, man?
I got a degree, but I ain't paid for all my credits. You know, stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
You know, I hope they don't call them folks, because them folks are looking for me, because I've been blocking their number. Stuff like that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna get people in this building that we think could be good coaches, and then they're gonna have different ideas from this guy. And you know, I know of Mike McCarthy, but I may not have rocked with those situations. But what we can definitely say, the last 2 years, the last 12-5 season, and this year's 7-10 season, looked almost identical to 1 year with Kellen Moore and a year when Rain wasn't here. So he's just saying, how do we change that? But the one thing we haven't had under the Mike McCarthy regime, we ain't had no identity. And that's what Shotty's trying to do. He's trying to give this team an identity. And he's starting from the ground up. I'm going to start with my guys. I'm going to start with the guys that I've drafted. These are the guys that I want. I'm going to incorporate them into the building. And I hope that their mindset, the way they move, is infectious inside the building, that it leads to spread to others. Because at the end of the day, we ain't got a bunch of knuckleheads. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got a lot of guys having no car wrecks, getting caught on the side of the road with a baby.
Actually.
And I mean, I ain't say a lot. We ain't have some people got custody of things. But I ain't see nobody on NFL Network, ESPN, or rolling across my scroll on my YouTube saying, hey, we just caught, such and such with two baby sea lions in a tank. With a whole bunch of narcotics, stuff like that, illegal, cell phones, nothing stupid. We ain't heard the stupid. We ain't getting the dumb stuff where you get guys to get the.
So what you're saying is they might be dummies, but they're not criminals.
They may make bad. I say they make bad decisions. How about that? Because they make bad decisions. Because we've all been that way. We've been all been to that point at one point in time.
Sure.
Okay.
So he then started talking about the rookie class and guys around that, right?
Right.
And this kind of goes back to his emphasis on character. He said that the rookie class has been a positive and impressive experience with the type of character and human beings that they are. So once again, man, I really do think that when they were putting together their board, that character had a lot to do with it. And that a prime example of this is they need a wide receiver too, but they're not touching Isaiah Bond. That's a prime example of that, right? So yeah, I also noticed that when he talked about Siobhan Revel, third round cornerback, he did say he's progressing great, and this is great to hear. Said he's progressing great, and did the individual. Man, I don't know why that had me in a chokehold. Did the individual drills and some of the stuff with the corners. So while he may not have gotten like the all clear and been free to go today, it's looking possible that he may be good to go around training camp. I see you messing with your audio. Are you still able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hear everything you're saying, bro.
Perfect. So, how do you feel about what he had to say about the rookie class as a whole, and about the positive comments about Siobhan Revel's recovery?
I mean, what he's saying is, I want people who care about football. I want dudes who are locked in, understanding that they have become 1% of that taken from that 7% of guys who go and play it after high school, and become that 1% that goes and comes here. He's not saying they're going to be, if they're good character guys, that don't mean they're going to be great football players. He said,
he did say something like that.
Yeah. He said they good character guys and care. Then they're gonna want to get better. They're gonna want to work to get better, and that's what you need. Because what they're gonna do is, if I care about it, I'm gonna be intentional and I'm gonna work hard. And it's not only that I get seen and recognized by my coaches, I get seen and recognized by the guys that are sitting next to me in the locker room. The guys who got to go eat lunch with me. Okay, he cares, so we're willing to help him. When you get to the point, man, I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing worse, man, than you're at a place with a guy who don't want to be there. You've had that experience. This good guy, he come in, man, this is wrong here, man. The lights ain't right, man. They ain't got no applesauce over here, man. They always complaining about something. It's already hard. Football, we talk about it all the time. Football's hard. Okay. It ain't always fun. The stuff that they do on Sundays that we see, what we see these cats, it ain't fun because it's men pushing another man against his will. It's 11 guys being on the same page at the same time to perfect something. So it's hard and it's arduous. So in this situation, he said, I want guys good character guys who willing to work hard to earn the respect of their teammates. And as your teammates see you working hard, then that pushes them to work hard. I think it may have been a little hot boyish. I mean, it may have been a little bit, me first guys. I mean, it may have been a lot of that stuff going on in the building, and they got to get that out. I think, not going with the rookie class, but to see Micah get the guys together and they work. We never seen that. We never seen Micah coming straight through the door of OTAs, because he already saw, some of the guys they wasn't all in. They wanted to talk about being all in, but they weren't doing everything to be all in.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. But then he also talked about the responsibility of the coaching staff as well. He did use Matt Eberflus as an example, but what he said doesn't apply specifically to Eberflus, right? He said just because Matt Eberflus, and you can insert any coach's name in there, even if it's Brian Schottenheimer himself. He said just because they've coached the NFL for X amount of years doesn't mean that they don't have to go out and connect with, and in the case of Eberflus, he said Deron Blank. But you can insert any player in there. Just because Brian Schottenheimer comes from a coaching pedigree, a coaching family, that by many could be seen as football royalty in with Marty. Just because he's so well connected with the game doesn't mean that he doesn't have to go and connect with Terrence Steele.
Terrence Steele. Right. I think what he's saying, though, is that everybody that's come here, nobody has this carte blanche ability to say, hey, I've done everything right.
That is a tea I read today.
Hey, man, I had a little coffee, man. I'm kind of on one right now. So forgive me, man. I'm doubling up. So what I caught from that, though, is that last time we saw Matt Eberflus, he was having a brain meltdown on national TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In Chicago. So I think everybody's got, they got scars, they got warts, they got little things that I haven't been good at. But it doesn't make it to the point that I can't have to go and talk to Donovan Wilson. I ain't got to go talk to Israel Imekwamu. I ain't got to go talk, to anybody from. And I think that has been Shotty's magic sauce. He's saying, I'm gonna know from the top guy to the janitor, and as long as we're doing that, then we all pulling together. And that's I think what he wants. That's what he's trying to lead his staff to do it, and lead the players to be able to do as well.
And he kind of spoke about that personableness with one of his last quotes, right? He talked about his daughter's boyfriend. Just use that as an example. He would bring up a player, and the boyfriend would be like, "That's my guy." I love
you don't
him.
Know that guy, man.
You don't know him. You don't know him from a can of paint.
Right.
And he said that his goal is to know a player well enough to be the leader of the team and the head coach of the Cowboys, right?
Right.
And I think that that's very important, because if you only converse with the stars on your team,
come on,
you may get production out of your stars, but if you don't communicate with your depth guys or your bottom of the roster guys or guys that are just trying to make the team, then you're not going to have a level of camaraderie that can be conducive to success.
Going back to a great quote, Jimmy Johnson always said, treat a man as he is and he shall remain, or treat a man as he can and what he will be, and he will become that. What Marty's saying is, I'm going to be able to understand this guy so that when he's having a bad day, I can reach to something to his bad day. If I can't reach to something to his bad day to draw him in, I can't coach him. I can't lead him. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what he's trying to do. And I think every great leader, every great leader that you've had in your life, every great leader I've had in my life, I've been able to be to the point I'm willing to go fight for him. I had a dude back in the day, real quick. I had a dude back in the day, my man, his name was Rob Donald, right? And so Rob would call us, man, and we'd have stuff going on. And Rob, he would have some outlandish thing for us to do. But at the end of everything, if we could do it or not, Rob would say, hey, man, how's the family? And it would make you feel like I need to leave whatever I'm doing right now to go help do with Ron, because Rob cared about my family. At the end of the day, Rob may not have cared about my family, but he made me feel as if he cared about my family, and that's what made me want to be able to go run through a wall for him. And that's what Shawty's trying to get these guys to do. Go fight the fight to get to where they want to all get, because we all know winning in Dallas is way bigger than winning anywhere else.
That'll make you legendary. If you win in Dallas, man, you will become legendary.
Yes, sir.
So here's my thing. I think that if he fosters that positive environment, then that can get rid of that country club mindset, because players won't go running to Jerry. They'll go running to their coach. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I see his vision. I see his vision for sure. And I hope that it succeeds, because the way that the media kind of frames things is always in a derogatory light. And if he can get it to where it does that about face, complete 180, then it's all for success, man.
I think. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Because I was gonna go into his next quote.
No, I just think the lie is far more entertaining. It's far more entertaining than just doing than telling the truth. So as long as that's in place, we're good to go. This is good to go.
And a lie don't care who tell it.
It don't care as long as it get told, bro. As long as it get told. For
sure. And then he touched on this one really quick. He just said, "Oh, Dak's rehab is going well." When somebody asked about Dak, that was the last reporter that got a chance to speak. I can't even remember who it was, but he said Dak's rehab is going well, and it's good to see him get back on the turf. So I wouldn't expect him to say anything different, but it's good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. And I right now, nobody need to know what's going on, because we ain't getting live until September. It don't really matter how Dak's doing right now. We care about what he's doing when it comes to training camp. So that's the most important thing. Yeah, that's
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got somebody that's not necessarily a fan of Dak in the chat, talking about Dak turning into a pumpkin when the playoffs start. We got to get there first. We got to get there first.
Listen, man.
You can't talk about Christmas. We ain't even get past Thanksgiving,
bro.
Chris.
I'm not putting all that on Rain, and I'm not standing on the wall fighting that fight anymore. Either you gonna like your quarterback, or you gonna wait for the next regime, because we can all point out different things that they weren't able to do. Collectively, they lost. Collectively, they won to get to the playoffs, and collectively, they lost in the playoffs. The only thing I'm worried about right now, what happens, how they keep stacking days on top of days to go and get ready for this 2025 campaign.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So that was Shotty's presser. You have anything else that you kind of noticed or wanted to talk about from it?
I mean, I just love the fact of the matter, man, that he sold out to the conviction of what he's trying to do. He's got his mindset of how I want to coach. I've seen how my father handled it. I've seen how guys have done it over the last 20 some odd years I've been in this business, and I am laying the groundwork and foundation of where I want to go. So, that's what I want to see. That's what I'm interested to see. And I just want these guys to get better. You were talking about Sharon Ravel. You asked me, and I went past that. Him saying him being there with Britt and working with the training staff, but he's not limited to the point that he can't walk through, like, even though he's on the side. And that's huge for an athlete coming off recovery
Yeah.
or coming off injury, because because you're always rehabbing, you don't feel like you're part of the team. So there's little stuff that you can't do, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that deals with the mental. That's a tough place.
Yeah.
Because when you are a high level athlete and you've
Mm-hmm.
only had success, and you have this adversity, and then you
Mm-hmm.
feel like there's nothing I can do to prove who I am, especially for a guy like him. And if you listen to his interview, he's all about, you got to close the circle with people around you. You got to do what you believe you can do, no matter if anybody else believes it.
Yeah.
You have to become like a family of one, or deal with the people who are in your family who are moving in the direction you want to go. And
Yeah.
I think that's huge for him. So him being able to do walkthroughs is huge for him, because he can still feel like he's part of the team. Like the install I'm seeing and I'm hearing, I'm able to show them I can walk through it and do certain things. So I think that's big for him.
And this is kind of unrelated. He didn't really insinuate anything towards it, but I hope that his emphasis on camaraderie, team building, and so on and so forth. I hope that has a good effect on Tyler Guyton, because all last year you heard about how he struggled with adversity and things like that, had to get over certain humps and things. I hope that it has a positive effect on him as well.
I mean, I think it's definitely going to be a better effect. I think just Tyler Guyton doing football stuff is going to have a better effect on him. Tyler Guyton being in the mindset of being a left tackle and doing this over and over and over and getting better at it. The one thing that we fail to realize is that he hasn't built up the stamina or built up the reps as a football player. He's just been basically an athlete. So he's basically an athlete with talents and attributes. He played right tackle at Oklahoma. You brought him in as a project. The problem is bringing him as a project as a first rounder. We're looking. We're pointing the finger, and we're looking like any offensive lineman we draft. When we draft him in the first, we believe every draft pick we draft is supposed to come back and be an all-pro. It don't make a difference. But
I mean, when you got such a good track record, offensive lineman,
you got to do. But so you turn around, he's replacing a bona fide Hall of Famer, and that guy that goes there, he should be able to. We don't expect any drop off, but you're gonna have those pains, you're gonna have those warts, you're gonna have those different things. So the biggest thing with Tyler Guyton is being in a room where he feels like they understand him, but he's also being pushed. He's being pushed to be better. So it's gonna work out. I've always said second year Tyler Guyton is gonna make you say, we got something. Third and fourth year Tyler Guyton would say, hey, it was worth the wait. That is ultimate. That's the ultimate hope. Now, do I want him to be Tyron Smith? Yeah, I would love for him to be Tyron Smith. But if he is adequate, does his job, and doesn't get my quarterback killed, he's done that. So I mean, that's it.
For sure, man. So we covered this whole press conference today, Chris. Anything else that you wanted to cover?
Man, no, man. Hey, listen, I just appreciate everybody coming through, man.
Yeah.
and doing their thing, man. I appreciate the comments, man.
I'm thankful. I'm
thankful. I'm grateful, man. Listen, man, just continue to rock with us, man. We're gonna keep trying to churn out this content, man. Try to get some of our homies out there to come on with us, man. But, we can't do this without y'all, Me and B can sit up and talk all day about ball. Most of the times we text them back and forth. But we take this time out of our day, man, to share with y'all, man. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, and go from there. I don't believe, like my man Ultra Cowboy, that we're going to get a top 5 pick. I do think we're definitely moving in the right direction. And because, like, I ultimately believe, tape tells all. So as we go further along this year, I just kind of believe some of the things will come back to the mean, math term, and then you'll kind of see where we're at. But I'm excited about going from there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Oh man, that's what's up, baby. I'm not Camp Lejeune, baby. Oh my goodness. Woo! Golly, man, that's a long time ago, man. Many days, man. I'm serious, bro. I was, Camp Johnson down there in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, man. Many days, man. Dope.
Sure enough, man. Hey,
much love, much respect.
Salute to those that serve, man. Salute to those.
Yeah, man. No doubt, man. No doubt, bro.
Absolutely. So, like always, if you stuck with us for this going on 40 minutes so far,
Man,
remember to like, comment,
do
share, subscribe. That
no doubt.
is the invisible currency how this thing works, because it
That's
really
the
don't work
secret
without
sauce.
any of y'all.
That's
Absolutely.
that's the secret sauce of what we do.
Free currency, Chris. Free currency. And if you want to see more, dope conversation, more dope film sessions, like we always do, be sure to hit that notification bell down in the bottom right hand corner, I believe it is.
It's just a bell. It's just a bell now. They just hit it, man.
Yeah,
you'll know when we on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, as always, don't forget to be kind to people. And until next time, this is Franklin Football. Peace.